What is up, podheads? Back with another episode of the Patio Slay podcast. My name is Tony, joined as always by Anthony.
Almost as always.
Almost as
but
always.
I'm here.
Yeah.
And almost always for you, too.
I know. It finally happened. I missed an interview. It doesn't happen often. This is the first interview, I think, in the history of the podcast that I was not a part of. But I have listened to it because I edited it, and it's great. And I'm excited for people to hear it because we're big fans of the band Wayside. And Izzy De Leon joined us for a conversation, joining you and Nate for a conversation surrounding, joining memory music and working on new music through that umbrella and working with Will Yip and all that fun stuff.
It's a great combo. She was great. We'll get into that in a second here. What have we been doing recently, though? We had recently, if you haven't tuned in for a while, we've had conversations with Dez from Devil Driver, Cold Chamber. We've had Tom from the Menzingers, right? Who else have we had?
Yeah, I mean, just all kinds of cool stuff back there. This year has been massive for us. We've had a lot of people come back for another time with us. Vinny from I Am the Avalanche and Movie Life, and Nick Wheeler of the All American Rejects. And just, it's been a great year and lots of cool stuff. We've got stuff coming down the pike here in the next couple of weeks, too. New people we've never had on before. So if you're new to us, we're all over the map as far as music and the industry, and having people on that have been everywhere. And then we're making inroads with people we've been on before, which has been really cool to have that rapport and different conversations with people that, are coming back.
Oh, for sure. And we were recently a guest on another podcast, which will come out maybe a month from now. But the host of that show was saying that as a result of us putting out episodes weekly, sometimes it's tough to keep up. So I'll plug that. There are 331 episodes now.
Yeah, 331.
331 episodes. So you can start at the beginning. I wouldn't recommend it. Maybe start around episode 90 in that range. Cherry pick it. Stream them while you sleep. I don't care. Support the scan. Get in there. Check them out.
So many good ones back there. And it's fun because we did do that episode with our friends from the Playlist podcast last night. That it'll be out in a couple of weeks. But bringing up different bands, bringing up different topics, and be like, oh, we've had them on. Oh, we've had them on. Oh, we've had them on. Like, there's so much back there. And it's pretty cool that we've been able to do this for that many weeks in a row, since the start of COVID, really, to today. Every week, new episode, audio slaves in your ears. Just check it out. Listen to it. There's a lot of good stuff back there.
And this week was no exception. Like you said, you couldn't make the interview, but Nate and I carried the torch, and Izzy was great. Izzy from the band Wayside. They are from Australia. Like you said, recently joined Memory Music. They've been a band, I think, collectively for probably, 7 years? Something like that?
Yep. Right before COVID, I think.
Right before COVID. Have a few releases. New song out now called Invisible Strings. And we talk about it in the interview. Like, it's heavy. It's dreamy. It is a complete banger. Like, pause this episode. Go pull up Spotify, whatever DSP you have, look up Wayside, Invisible Strings. It is a banger. Go check it out.
Yeah, we're really excited about this band and have been now for almost a year. I know I found them in just the algorithm feeding me Wayside songs, and I was like, these guys are really cool. Really excited to share this with the group. And you were headed to Australia, and we're like, what do I need to listen to that I probably haven't checked out yet? And I'm like, check out Wayside. And then sure enough, they're from Australia. I was like, oh,
it's
cool.
meant to be.
Yeah, it was meant to be. And, you listened to a ton. Nate, we got Nate on board pretty quickly thereafter. And then we were able to talk with Izzy, who's now in the band and been with the band for a couple of years now. I think it sounds like playing with them and being part of the band full time now. And we got that whole story. We get all kinds of cool stuff about, their come up and where they're at as a band. And they're in a great spot. I mean, they're on a label that we love, working with a producer that we love. We've had a bunch of bands that have worked with Will Yip. He's an all-time producer now. Really cool. This is the type of stuff that we love doing because we get to have these conversations with bands at different stages. And Wayside's at a really cool spot, and it's fun to hear that from the band themselves.
And this is, I don't know how many bassists we've had on, but Izzy plays bass in the band, and really cool. Like, Izzy, if you're listening, you were a great guest. We really enjoyed chatting with you.
Yeah, awesome stuff. You want to get into it?
I'd say let's get into this.
Let's get into it. Izzy De Leon from Wayside, Australia's own. Exciting stuff right here.
All right, we're here with Izzy from Wayside. Izzy, thanks for hanging with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it's really cool. And Nate and I were just talking before you jumped on. We we go back with Wayside probably to the fall. So, relatively recent, but like not just like yesterday, but like in the fall. And Tony, who's our third host, who's not on this call, he sent me a link to your music, and I downloaded it from Spotify. And ironically enough, I listened to it on a flight to Australia, and I didn't even know you guys were from Australia.
Oh, wow.
I listened to it the whole way on
Where in
repeat.
Australia? Where are you going?
That trip, I went to actually two spots. I went to Brisbane, and then right outside Sydney to Parramatta. You ever been there?
Awesome. I actually haven't been to Parramatta, no, but I'm from Brisbane originally. So I'm living in Melbourne at the moment, and the boys are from Melbourne. But when I met the boys, we were like playing, they'd traveled up to Brisbane and we were playing on the same lineup. So yeah, that's how we met.
You know what we call it? We call it nerdvoyance, where like it just kind of like coincides in a weird way, like
That
Australian
is
band.
exactly what happened. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
clairvoyance,
meant to
nerdvoyance. We're kind of geeks in that way. Also, though, Twan, I mean, and Izzy, like I don't think there's a better type of music to listen on a flight. Like Wayside's just like perfect headphones, get in the zone type music.
Thank you.
Yeah, actually, that is a good point. It's very, dreamy in spots, can go hard and heavy, but I listen. I'm not going to say the whole flight because that's a very long flight, but I listened to it just on repeat, and repeat. And then, when we saw that the new song was out inside memory, we're like, hey, we gotta kick these tires,
Gotta lock in.
we gotta log in. But yeah, we were in the second we heard you, and we're always looking for like new music, and we are setting our ways to some extent with like what we listen to. Like I love a lot of stuff I grew up on, but we're always looking for new stuff to check out. But
Hell yeah. Well, yeah, thanks for listening. I hope the flight went quickly.
oh, geez. Actually, there was one of the flights where I had the whole row to myself, the two people in my row. So it was
that's
like
the dream.
it was accidental first class. Like
That is, yeah, the universe was on your side that day for sure. We have to fly home like this Sunday coming, and we're just like dreading it.
oh yeah, that's the thing is people don't realize that not only is it a long flight, but it's a different day when you get there, and your like internal rhythm is all messed up.
Yeah, to be honest, it's not as bad going back. You sort of like gain a day in the air. So like we'd leave on like the Sunday here, and then we arrive like Tuesday morning because Australia, from where we are in Philly, the Australian time zone is like 14 hours in the future. So you kind of like gain 14 hours in the air. But on the way here, the jet lag is so brutal. You kind of just have to like just drink like as many Red Bulls as it takes to make it through the day that you land. And then just like melatonin or whatever you've got to like help you sleep. And if you can lock in on the first day that you land, usually it's okay. But if you have any trouble, it'll just like kick you in the ass for weeks. Speaking from experience.
Yeah, for sure. And the other thing is just keeping in touch with people back home. It is impossible. It is the hardest thing.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. It's definitely been challenging previously when we've been in the States touring. At least we're in the States at the moment, but we're just recording. So we sort of have the same schedule every day. But definitely when you're on the road, it's like, yeah, it's almost impossible.
So Australia, we talked about a little bit. It is. And Nate, have you been to Australia?
It's I know you talk about it all the time. I've always wanted to, I think it was like maybe sixth grade. I looked at a globe and I'm like, I want to live there someday. It was one of those like spin the globes and land on it, and it was Perth. And I've wanted to live in Perth ever since. And I have like 7 friends that live in Perth. It just like seems like that's supposed to happen at some point. Hasn't. But I remember, yeah, I've wanted to do all your festivals out there back in the day, like Big Day Out and Soundwave and all the tours that would, tour the continent. I'm like, man, like it has to happen. But Anthony's been, I've never been, but I'm dying to get out there.
Oh, you gotta come. You gotta come
Yeah.
over. It's like so many people come and then just like fall in love with it and just never go home.
That's me. I fell in love with it. I had to go home because my family's here, but it is. I mean, I can say this. I'm not like I haven't been to every country in the world, but I've been to a fair amount. It is my favorite place in the world. Like it is my favorite between the people, the weather, how clean it is, the food. It checks every box. It's just, coming from the States, it's very different.
I do feel very lucky to have grown up in Australia. I think, like, obviously, the States has so much to offer, and especially in terms of music and like the guitar music scene. But it's definitely nice to like go home to somewhere where you can really just like unplug and slow down. Yeah, Australia has like such a laid back culture, and like I feel like I feel like especially in bigger cities or cities where there's more people, like the more you hustle, the more you're like rewarded for it. But definitely for my nervous system personally, it's nice to like come home from a tour or come home from recording and just be able to like, yeah, really chill in a space that like moves a little bit slower, if that makes sense.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%. Like to me, it's like this, like a global oasis.
Yes,
Like
I would
it,
agree.
it feels that way when you're there, and then like physically, it's an island. But yeah, we
I
love
would
it.
agree.
Or I love it. Nate, if you go, you will love it. You'll probably never leave.
Oh man, that was the plan back in 2003.
If you go, you have to go to like places other than Perth as well.
Yeah.
Perth is like, I think, the most isolated major city in the entire world. So make sure you do the east coast of Australia as well.
Yeah, no, that's a good call. So you're out on the East Coast right now. You're with your friends Tom and Josh. Are you guys out there recording right now, or what's going on?
Yeah, we're in Philly. We're recording. This is our last week recording. We've been here for the last 3 weeks. So yeah, working on a new album. I don't think I can like speak too much about like when stuff will be happening, but yeah, working on like the next big release.
Right on. Yeah, we won't poke too much at. And so when did you join? Because I know that the band was founded by Tom and Josh, and just reading up, like they've been friends forever, and high school.
Yeah.
I almost said high school sweethearts, high school best friends.
Yeah, high school bromance, I guess.
Oh, there you go.
I met them, like I was saying, I was still living in Brisbane, and I don't know why we were booked on the same lineup. It was pretty funny. I guess like the universe really just wanted us to meet that night, but we were playing on the same lineup. I was playing as my solo project, so I do like this acoustic-y solo project. And not only were we billed on the same lineup, but for some reason I was also playing like after them. So they played like this full band setup. And then I just got on stage and I was like, oh, sorry, everyone. Like, I'm about to bring the vibe right down. And then, yeah, we kind of just, I travel around a lot for my work. So I'm like a session bassist for like a bunch of different bands. So I was sort of in Melbourne all the time. And every time I was heading down to Melbourne, I'd just hit them up and be like, do you want to come to the show or do you want to hang out? And then when the rollout for What Does Your Soul Look Like started happening, they started like flying me down to be in their music videos. So I guess I've been playing with them since the very start of 2023, end of 2022. And then I joined the band officially end of 2023.
How is that joining something that's already going on? Like, obviously there's music out, you've seen them, you get the vibe. So like it's totally in your court if you want to join or not. You know what I mean? Versus starting from the get go. But how is that? How is it joining an established band?
I think for me, like I just have this joke that like I won like the ultimate Wayside fan experience. Cause after we played that show together, I like listened to their first record, Shine On To Me. And I loved it so much that I like bought a vinyl online. I still have it. I bought like a vinyl and a CD. And yeah, I met them just before they recorded Here with Will for the first time. So I remember like getting coffee with Josh and asking him if he was like excited to go over to Philly for the first time. And so yeah, like I guess being like genuinely friends with them as people before being, I guess, like bandmates and colleagues, it definitely was a much easier transition into like becoming part of the project because we already had such a nice dynamic. Yeah, they're kind of just like brothers to me. And then when I moved from Brisbane to Melbourne, I'd never really lived anywhere except my hometown. So they really just took me under their wing. And yeah, it honestly felt very easy.
Were you already like the music you were playing before as a session bassist? Was it similar vibe? Is that another reason why it kind of just fit in, or just seemed like right place, right time? Obviously, they're friendly guys as well, but
Yeah, I think like if anything, it kind of just was like right place, right time. I always have listened to music that sounds more like Wayside, but my yeah, I guess my roster of artists that I was playing for at the time, there wasn't really anything like it. But yeah, it's always sort of something that I have like wanted to go in that direction eventually. So when the opportunity presented itself, it was perfect. Right place, right time, I guess.
nice. Yeah, I mean, Anthony and Tony, like the other hosts, will like we'll send music to each other or whatever. And sometimes like it's just preference with like, hey, like this is something you're absolutely gonna like based on your personal taste. Like this is gonna
Yep.
fit you. And when I listened to Wayside, I was like, I think I said it last night in our group text. It was like, if they asked me to be their tour manager, I would 100% say yes. It's like one of those things like, oh no, I mean this makes sense. This is right,
Hell
like you said, right
yeah.
place, right time. Like it's my vibe, it all fits. So as like a session bassist player, I can imagine that's like the best feeling. Like I already like this type of music. The guys are super friendly. I want to go tour. I want to record. Like why the hell not? So
Yeah.
something like that presents itself. It's just really kind of coming down to just timing, which is cool.
Yeah, I feel very lucky. They're also like, I guess it really is just like traveling with your best friends and then just like getting to play shows every now and then. They're so easy to be around, work with, hang out with. It's just, yeah, it's like a dream situation, really.
It's funny. We've heard over the years just different stories of how band members join bands. Like some, I forget who it was specifically, but they're like, yeah, I just replied to a Craigslist ad. And when you do that, it's such a crapshoot and gamble because a lot of things have to align. Like at that point, you don't even know the people, right? So you got to be into the music. They could suck as people. You know what I mean? You don't even know. So, I think if I were to join a band, it would have to be either someone I've known for a long ass time or maybe join something established that I'm a fan of already, and you already like. There's no surprises,
Yeah,
or as little
sure.
surprises as possible.
For sure. Yeah, I think the way that things happened, it was just sort of like it felt like a very natural progression at the time. And yeah, it's been like a very smooth transition. I really have no complaints. It's sort of been, yeah, there hasn't really been any friction at all. And especially writing this new record together. Obviously, this is the first record that we will have written as a three-piece. And yeah, that the writing process has been quite easy as well. So yeah, everything just feels like it's fallen right into place, which is nice.
Do you play any other instruments?
Yes, the Izzy lore runs pretty deep. I like I
Well,
grew
the reason I ask real quick is like when I hear a session musician, session bassist, it's like
mm,
that's not all they do. That is not all they do. I know it. I can feel it.
yeah, I'm actually like a trained like vocalist as well. I just don't really love singing like I don't really know how to explain it. I just I find that there's so much more pressure like when you're singing on stage to people, especially if you're like singing the lead vocal. There's so much pressure that just like doesn't exist when you're playing bass. And so that's kind of how I fell into bass being my main instrument. I have a background as a vocalist and the like anxiety just like really started affecting me like really negatively, kind of started making me like not enjoy music anymore. And then when I found bass, I was just like, oh, this is sick. Like this is everything I love about music, but none of the none of the pressure. And I guess all of the pressure that I'm talking about is like self-imposed in my head.
For sure.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I am like a trained vocalist. I actually went to uni to study like jazz vocals. And then I learned piano and yeah, guitar growing up as well. And then yeah, like I definitely grew up playing like concert band instruments like brass.
There you go. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that kind of stuff doesn't really come in handy in my like adult career, I guess.
Nice. So there's some inevitable harmonies per se, maybe on future
Yeah,
recordings.
Yeah, there's actually one song on this record that I do sing lead on, but I think it's one of those ones that'll always be like an album cut, and we'll probably never do it live.
I mean, you never know. I love the whole female male like dichotomy in singing. One of my favorite bands I've talked about in here a ton is the band the XX from
Oh
UK.
yeah.
And I love like Rami's voice is probably the most beautiful voice in the history of music, in my opinion. And then it goes back and forth with her and Jamie, and I just love that. And they're like drop D guitars and everything. It's just, I mean, it's the ultimate dream pop band.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
The XX reminds me so much of high school. I think I found them on Tumblr originally.
Tumblr shout out. First Tumblr shout out on the pod in 6
Nice.
years.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I feel like the XX, like Arctic Monkeys. Yeah, I found so much like specifically UK, like not really indie because they were all signed to major labels, I guess, but that sort of like British aesthetic of like the early 2010s just reminds me of my time on Tumblr.
I think an XX Wayside collab is in the future.
Oh my God.
That'd be dope.
That would be crazy. That would be so sick.
So Izzy, you joined, I think you said in like 2023. How was the first Wayside Izzy show live? Did it pop off? Were you nervous?
Fun.
How nervous were you?
I was pretty nervous. Yeah. The first Wayside show that I played would have been the album launch. It was like a sold out show at a venue called Cherry Bar in Melbourne. And yeah, I just remember being nervous because I knew it just meant so much to the boys, and I like just wanted to do a good job. But yeah, it was super fun. It's more of like an intimate venue. I think it's about 150 cap room. And yeah, it was just like packed full of all of our friends. So it was kind of like, it was definitely like low stakes. Like it was a nice first show. It was like sort of around mostly friends. But the first tour we went on together would have been supporting the Butterfly Effect around Australia. And they were some bigger venues. So definitely more nerves for that one, even though I'd like played the set already. But yeah, that was kind of our first time doing like multiple cities and like really traveling together for the first time. So I think after that tour was done, we were just sort of like, oh, it's going to be easy. Like we're all like really chill people. No one really had any issues. It was, the shows went well. I'm just trying to like remember if there's any funny stories that I can share, but yeah, that one went really smoothly.
Well, it helps that like they were established and it was their record release show, right? So like people are going to see them. Like we've had other bands on where, inevitably band's first show, they're typically fans aren't there to see them. They're just, added onto a show. But for this one, they were there to see you. So that's really cool.
Yeah, I'd watched them play. They'd done a couple of tours with just like different fill-ins on bass. So I'd seen a couple of Brisbane shows of one of the previous sort of band lineups playing. So I sort of like knew what to expect from the show, and like I guess I could imagine how to slot in as best I could. Yeah, I think that kind of helped watching the show before having to play it.
That is, for me, like, I don't know, like the unknown, if I was like either joining a band or starting a band, I would probably honestly prefer to join. Like starting, you don't know where it's going to go. You don't know if anyone's going to be into it. So having something established, which leads me to the new single. Nate, how good is Invisible Strings? Like how?
Oh my God, dude. I was actually, that's what I was going to jump in and say. It's just the new song. I think just before this episode, before we did it, I drove around a little bit. Again, I guess it's good driving and flying music because it's just a good, like, have it in your sphere type thing. And I played it like 6 times in a row. I'm just like, damn, fucking, the intro's sick. It's just, I mean, we have this whole segment on the podcast called Perfect Songs. It actually is a pretty perfect arrangement.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, like the intro goes hard. Like, and that's I think that's present in the old material, but like it goes really hard. And then the verses, it's, they kind of, what did I say, Nate? The verses put you on another planet. Like, I think that's what it is. Like, you're able to kind of create your own visual for this like amazing soundtrack. And I love that. And the chorus is massive.
Thank you so much. That's so kind. That's so Invisible Strings. That's like the first song that we've written together as a 3-piece.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, we were sort of like, we were kind of just when we first started trying to write specifically for this next record, we were kind of like throwing airballs at first, just trying to find a sound or like a vibe that we could latch onto, and it would sort of illuminate what the rest of the record was like meant to sound like, if that makes sense. And yeah, Invisible Strings is one of the first songs that we wrote where we were like, oh, this could have legs. And yeah, it was Josh's first time writing on like a 7-string as opposed to a 6-string.
Oh, right on.
And yeah, I guess it's just like we were all sort of experimenting with sound and like harmony, and especially with the 7-string, I think it's really easy to lean very like metalcore-y, like genty.
For
with
sure.
That.
That's where my head goes immediately. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think it's just a testament to like Josh's songwriting and like harmonic taste. He was sort of using it more as a tool to create like, I guess, depth and like warmth as opposed to like making it sound really angular, if that makes sense. And so, yeah, he sort of like came up with that intro and we were like, damn, this is sick. And then the sort of like reversed, like reverby, like pad sound throughout the verses, we were sort of just like messing around on Logic when we were creating the demo track. And yeah, we just felt like it took it to like a totally different place. Like you said, like feels like you're sort of on another planet. And then when we were like messing around with the chorus, we were like, oh, if we just like bring it home and just like chug on that 7-string again. Yeah, the song kind of wrote itself. It was very easy.
It's funny you say that because like it doesn't take much to cross over into that like Meshuggah world, right? If you're not careful, which is amazing. Yeah. It's just a different thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a fine line for sure.
Yeah, we don't play, ironically, we don't play any music. We're just obsessed with music and talking to musicians in the industry and all that stuff. But like, yeah, when I look at a 7-string guitar, I'm like, God damn, like it's already hard to play a guitar. Now a 7-string, like how big does your hand have to be? And so when you're talking about that's a 7-string, you're jumping into the mix on this new record as like basically an official member at this point. It's like self-imposed pressure. Like, okay, like let's make it harder.
Yeah. I think like a very important distinction with like a lot of music on that more sort of like genty side. In Invisible Strings, like I only ever play like a 4-string bass. And also on this record, I'm not playing more than 4 strings on bass. I think as soon as you go like extra string on guitar and start adding extra strings on bass, it starts getting a bit like into that world. And we were just like really conscious of not like wanting to like dabble and reference that world, but like not quite have the output be in that genre more so than the sort of like alt rock genre that we already occupy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. It's another like tool in the tool belt without leaning all the way in, you know?
Yes. Yeah. This record's definitely been like more experimental. Like I think there's like 7 different guitar tunings for Josh on this next one. Kind of a nightmare. But
What's next? Like Tool, like time signatures? You gonna dev?
Maybe give us a few years.
Well, it's an exciting time for you as a band because the single's out, and I got to imagine the feedback has been very positive. It's a banger, but you've also signed to Memory, which is huge. Which I don't know. My guess is if you asked you guys maybe 2 or 3 years ago, it just I got to assume that was maybe on the radar and just a natural next step for you guys. That's what I like, because I know you'd worked with Will in the past, right?
Yeah, so the boys did their last record, What Does Your Soul Look Like, with Will, but they put that out totally independently, like self-funded the whole thing. It was like as independent as you can get. And so, yeah, when we were like sort of shopping around label wise for this next record, we had a couple of offers, but in terms of, I guess, positioning like for the project, nothing really felt right. And so, yeah, it was like another one of those things that kind of just like right place, right time, everything fell into place. Yeah, Will kind of started chatting to us about maybe putting it out on Memory, and we were just like, this definitely makes the most sense out of everything. And like it's it's obviously a dream come true for us. Like we're just like three people from the middle of nowhere, Australia. So if you could like go back and tell high school us that we'd be like putting out a Will Yip produced record on Will Yip's label, it's like, yeah, pretty crazy.
We say that all the time, like talking to our like 15, 16-year-old selves, like, do we imagine we would be talking to said artists that we'd have their whole, all their CDs and vinyl and stickers
Oh
and posters on our
man.
wall? It's like not at all. And it's happened
Right.
like time and time again. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
you're telling me it's crazy.
Well, one thing about Will and Memory versus other labels, and maybe this is where you're going, but like there's certain labels, and I'm not going to say any labels, but there's certain labels where it just feels like it's product first. It's not art first. It's product first, right?
Yes.
This is the new band on that roster, and now they're trying to sell me, the merch package. Where with Memory, it just feels like, I don't know, almost like a standalone movie, or like it's art first versus
Yes.
product. I don't know. Does that make any sense to either of you?
Makes sense to
does.
me. When you were saying it, I was like nodding the whole time. Like, heck yeah, man, I know where you're at.
Yeah.
I think like because Memory is inherently curated by Will, it's sort of just like, yeah, I feel like it's a bit corny to say, but it really just is like a family. And like to be included on a roster of bands that he like genuinely believes in and is passionate about is like, it's crazy for us, but it's a honor to be like on the roster next to bands like Balance and Composure, like Webbed Wing, people that we've like looked up to for ages. So yeah, and it definitely feels like a family. Yeah, Will is just such a legend, one of like the warmest, nicest people you'll ever meet. So yeah, we feel very privileged and lucky to be included.
Yeah, it's a cool dynamic. It's almost like a not quite, well, and he is a celebrity, but I was gonna say like celebrity chef, and you have like this pocket of restaurants that if you know type situation, which, you're part of this amazing dream. And like you said, you look up to these like legends, call it restaurant, like, oh, I like that chef. That's so cool that they did that. But you wouldn't know unless like you know that scene or like that kind of like sliver of the call it culinary scene. And you
Yeah.
somehow are under their like umbrella. All of a sudden, you're like, oh shit, I made
It's
it in
cool
my
shit.
world. I made it. You know what I mean? I'm not on I'm not I'm not playing stadiums, but I don't need to because this is my home. So, for the music and for the fan alike.
Yeah, that's a nice analogy, I think. Especially in terms of like in terms of like a celebrity chef having like a group of restaurants, you sort of like know what to expect and you know that it might not all be exactly the same cuisine, but the quality and the vibe is like what connects it. I think that is really like a good analogy for what Memory is.
Nate, and I do too. Nate loves the food analogies on this podcast.
That's why I actually
I
started
love
laughing.
food, so
I'm
it
telling you.
landed exactly the way it was supposed to.
Australia, best food on the planet. And I told that like to all my friends here in the States and family and stuff. They're like, why? I'm like, I don't even know. It's just fresher. It's just fresher. It's just, I don't know. It's like, it's made, everything was like made with love. Where like here, it's just a bunch of slop, like cheap and fast. And that's certainly you can get that over in Australia. But yeah, we love food and love the food analogy.
Yeah, I feel like Australia, I definitely take the food for granted. And like when I started traveling to play shows and like be on the road for the first time, it's fine when you're like in a city for more than 24 hours and you can sort of like take the time to figure out what place you want to go to eat and do some research. But like when you're on the road and it's only highway food available to you, it's just like, oh man, I'm like so homesick just for the food.
Yeah, I can imagine
Australia
touring.
rules.
I imagine touring and on the road, especially, and we can shit on it because we live here. The States, like, the options are minimal. I mean, no, there's amazing options, like I was saying, like, world-renowned chefs and whatnot. But being on the road, like, there's just like fast food. Like, unfortunately, our country is big on GMOs, so it's like you can't really get quality food unless you really look for it. So if you're on the road, like, you really got to stop at a natural food store and pack the fridge because otherwise you're gonna be feeling like shit.
Yeah, literally. I mean, that's what we tried to do. We were doing like a fall tour with a Canadian band called Soft Cult last October. And I feel like when for context, I'm vegan, so it's like extra hard for me to find food on the road. But like when I'm celebrating because I see a Chipotle, it's yeah, it's like kind of grim.
Hey, shout out Mercedes, shout out Soft Cult. We had them on the podcast, and I love that latest record. And I know you guys did a song with them, which was amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you see it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they're so talented. They're some of our closest friends, and yeah, like it's sick. We're all like genuinely fans of each other's work, but after like touring together, we'll just be friends forever.
So Izzy, what's the buzz in the Wayside camp right now? So like new song out, clearly new stuff on the way, new label. It's got to be cool, right?
Yeah, it's definitely exciting. It's been like, to be honest, I think a lot of us have had a lot of big life changes in our personal lives this year. So it's kind of been bittersweet, like the timing of everything. But like, I think at the end of the day, we're all just so in shock that like this is happening. Like, you know, we're, like I said before, we're literally just like three people from like Australia, the middle of nowhere. And to have like all of these people just like want to believe in us and take a chance on us is, yeah, it's such an honor. And like going from listening to bands that Will Yip has worked on and like records that Will Yip has worked on and just being like a genuine fan as like teenager to like dapping him up in the studio every day is like, I don't think that feeling will ever get old. It's, yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Amazing.
And now, especially that we have a couple of international tours under our belt, it just feels like everything's sort of like leveled up considerably. And yeah, I think we're all just like grateful. That's probably the main emotion that we're all feeling towards the project at the moment. Like I think even the boys, like none of us ever thought like any of this would happen. It's all like kind of crazy.
I mean, to chase your dream is one thing. Travel is probably the best thing you can do for yourself. So touring must be just phenomenal to, first of all, be paid to do it, but secondly, like to do what you love doing at the same time. And yeah, you got to find some shitty food on the road once in a while. That's like maybe the one shitty part of
Yeah,
that
it's a
scenario.
price I'm willing to pay for sure.
And yeah, you said you did some tours, or have you done some touring? Obviously, you got a pretty big tour in the UK and Europe this fall in October, right?
Yeah, yeah. So we were just in the UK before we were here as well. We played Download Festival and then we did a few headliners surrounding that. And yeah, we love playing in the UK. So yeah, it's going to be fun to head back in October.
Yeah, that's with Acres, What Lies Below, and was it Life Spark?
Life Spark.
I was
Yeah.
just looking at the flyer. I'm trying to think here. I've never been to the UK, but I've seen shows in Europe
Mm.
when I've traveled there, and I love it. The only thing is I've noticed is a lot of shows start late, and like as I get older, I'm like, it's midnight. Has the headliner gone off?
It's bedtime.
It's bedtime. So have you? I mean, I assume you've traveled there before. Like, you're really looking forward to those regions.
Yeah, yeah. There's a few places that we haven't played in yet that we're excited to go. So yeah, we've never been to Switzerland, never been to Poland. Yeah, there's a couple of places in Europe that we haven't played yet. Yeah, there's like a show in Prague, Vienna. We were lucky to do like a UK Europe tour last year, but it was less shows and smaller rooms. So yeah, I think this tour is going to be fun. We don't really know what to expect, but yeah, we're excited for sure.
Tell me about I mean, I'm just trying to imagine this. I can only imagine going from Download Festival to playing like clubs, like almost like back to
Right.
back. Like,
Like honestly, from our perspective, it's like it's all crazy to us. Like I think to just go to like almost as far away as you can get from home and to have like even one person show up and want to watch you is like insane. So I think playing like a tent at Download to like thousands of people, insane. And then yeah, like when you play club shows and like getting to meet fans and like talk to them one on one, it's like yeah, it's all just kind of crazy because it's like I don't know, you just want to like just say thank you and like give everyone a huge hug for like supporting your like art and what you love. I think at the end of the day, like we're not making music so that people will listen to it. Like we just make music that like we like, and it's like a huge bonus that it resonates with people. And yeah, it's like I think it was last year in maybe one of the Europe shows, someone came up to show the boys that they'd gotten like a Wayside tattoo, like one of the like some lyrics from one of the songs.
That's the ultimate honor.
It's like it's all crazy to us. So it's we just feel so lucky. It doesn't really matter like the size of the show that we play. It's just the fact that anyone would like take the time to come out and support us is like amazing.
And for those like massive gigs like Download Festival, it must be insane too. Like you were just referencing like all your influences, or like for like what I was saying earlier, with like my posters on the wall, like call it Rage Against the Machine, stuff like that. To be at Download Fest, like I've worked some festivals, on the promoter side or whatever, and to be backstage and see like those bands and they're just everywhere, and you're like, I gotta work, but holy shit, this is fucking crazy.
You're trying to like hold it together because you want to be like professional and not a fangirl, but it's pretty nuts.
I wasn't familiar with Acres, and then I checked them out the other day and really liked it. But like that's kind of the cool thing of like comparing those size gigs. Like a lot of people at Download might not know you, so you're playing to maybe people that don't even know you. So this, maybe element of like trying to win them over and whatnot. But a tour like Acres, this is a good chance people are there for you, certainly for them, but for you, and that's a cool thing too.
Yeah, I think like as well the Acres tour, like all of the bands on the lineup sort of, we like our music fits together, but we all occupy like a different sort of niche within the genre.
Yeah.
So I think there's going to be like a nice spread of people who are like there to see a specific band, but there might not be like, I feel like there might not be crossover with like everyone, but I feel like we're all sort of like different facets of like the same sphere, if that makes sense. So I think it's going to be a fun one, and like it's a sick lineup of bands to get to watch every night. So to be like paid to just like watch a sick show every night, travel the world is like, honestly, it's crazy. It's crazy saying it out loud because it's like, wow, if I like, if I could like go back to high school me and be like, this is what you'll be doing, I would like laugh.
It's amazing.
Thanks.
Well, Izzy, exciting time to be in the Wayside camp. We always say, well, maybe not, Nate doesn't always say this, but I always say it, but like if bands were stocks, I'd buy Wayside right now. Like I'd buy Wayside. Yeah. Yep. Like I feel like the plane's on the runway and it's just getting packed out and it's going to take off soon. And it's, and then at the end of the day, like, why do I think that? It's the music. And after chatting with you, like what's not to like with you and the guys? Like, sounds like you're really, really passionate about it. And, you got the Will and Memory cosign. It's just you guys are in a cool spot, and I'm excited for new stuff.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that means the world.
Yeah, when we already like the music in the interview, like, it humanizes the music itself too.
Yeah, for sure.
It just changes everything for us as fans. Like, we're just fans, right? Like I said earlier, like we don't play. I'll never be able to play. And so I just idolize people like you that not
no
only
session bass in the future, Nate.
Yeah, no. The fact that you can play and then, play live too. There's just so many dynamics to being in a band. It's not just like you write music and you write into the sunset. It's touring, it's writing, it's pressure, it's lack of sleep. You're away from family. There's all the good, the highs and lows, right? Like everything has its pros and cons. So, but we're stoked for you, and we're stoked to see you guys in the States at some point. I'd love to get out to Download Festival, and I will get out to Australia. I mark my words, I'll be out there. Maybe, and like you said, I'll go to Perth, but I'll go everywhere.
Hell yeah! Well, if you're ever in Melbourne, hit us up. We'll show you around.
Heck yeah!
Awesome. Thanks, Izzy.
Thank you for listening to Podio Slave. We are at Podio Slave on X, Instagram, TikTok, all of the places that you can find us on social media. It's at Podio Slave. We are Podio Slave Podcasts on YouTube. Subscribe to us there. If you want to contact us, hit us up at podioslavepodcast@gmail.com. And hey, if you've got a minute, leave us a review. Tell a friend. We'd really appreciate that. Thank you.